Check. See what we have going on so far. Good morning. GameStop shares jumped 30% as trader Roaring Kitty, who drove meme craze, posts online again. I don't even want to go through how I feel about that. Just the whole concept of one person posting like that. Those kind of situations make retail traders look bad. But anyway, here are today's biggest analyst calls. NVIDIA, Apple, Netflix, Delta, Micron, Visa, MasterCard, Target, Tesla, and more. These analysts have a tendency to potentially move the market as well because some of them are well respected. And they're the people you may see who sometimes it'll be reported such and such set the new price target at, and then, people will start moving around from there. So, they do have a say to some degree. Anyway, good morning again. The Dow futures is up 0.28%. The S&P futures is up 0.30%. The NASDAQ futures is up 0.38%. And stocks futures rise slightly after Dow's best week of the year. Investors look toward inflation data. European markets are mostly down, but they move lower as traders look ahead to the U.S. inflation data. DAX down 0.29%, FTSE down 0.26%, CAC down 0.32%. FTSE Milano, that's MIB, is the only one that's up 0.18%, and Stock 600 is down 0.15%. So CAC down, FTSE down, DAX down. Asian market mixed. ASX 200 up slightly, 0.01%. The Nikkei is down 0.13%. Kospi down 0.02%. HSI, which is Hong Kong, up 0.80%. So ASX 200 and HSI, the only two that are up. For the Asian market, Shanghai down 0.21%. Asian markets largely lower as investors assess China's inflation data. They await the Japan gross domestic product print. As I always say, all of these countries, their economies are intertwined in various ways. Russell 2K is down 0.67%, and the VIX is up slightly, 5.82%, but it's up to 13.28, right? So that's opening bell. We have here at the top, this is the Forex Factory. 9 a.m., we got the yellow folder, FOMC member Jefferson speaks, and FOMC member Mester speaks. Tentative, we got the mortgage delinquencies. Okay. The bottom part down here is for investing.com. We have a 1 star for Jefferson speaking, 2 stars for member Mester speaking. Now, we made this distinction before that sometimes you see a 2-star over here for something that is a yellow folder on Forex Factory, and sometimes you'll see 2 stars over here and it'll be orange for the same thing over here on Forex Factory. So there's not always a direct correlation between the two. They both have their reasons and their set of standards for determining whether or not something is a orange, yellow, red folder versus 1 to 3 stars. So just be aware of that. For 11 o'clock, we have the New York Fed 1-year consumer inflation expectations. 11:30, 1 star, 3-month bill auction. 11:30, 1 star, 6-month bill auction. Okay, so that's what's jumping off today so far this morning. You may be hearing my trades picking up that I put in last night in my same account. So just so you know, that's what that is. If you hear all of that, those bells. I will not go through every single one of these, but obviously we got the
market open. Well, before open, we have some reportings that I think are standouts for us, meaning some of us have heard of these regularly or have traded these. Tencent Music is out of Asia. You may have heard of them. Bitfarms right here before market open. That's in the crypto space. All right. I'm not familiar with some of these other ones, but I can tell that this one right here, obviously, may be a company out of Asia. Again, talking about markets intertwining, you know, other countries have listings on the New York Stock Exchange and our stock markets, which is normal for us to see. Actually, Tencent Music is out of Asia too. After close today, the ones that I know about is TerraWolf, which will be in the I will put that in the tech space. Petrobras is oil. That's a not investment advice, but that is a dividend paying account. That's the only reason why I know about them. Who else? That's all I really know about. I know I've heard of AgileSys right here, but I'm not. I think they're in the tech space, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's after market today. Before the open tomorrow, we got Alibaba. A lot of us have heard of them. Home Depot is in that space. It's funny how Sony, as much stuff as they do, if you ever look at their stock chart, the stock chart is not, at least from what I've seen so far, it's not something that moves enough for a trader to be able to do what we do. But it's interesting, as big of a company that it is, I would have thought that it would be. But Intuitive Machines, I believe, is also in the tech space right there. So that's before market open. On Tuesday, after close on Tuesday, I've only heard of Rumble from that group. And again, I'm not naming stuff. I'm just naming the stuff that I know I've seen before open. Wednesday, I know I've heard of Monday.com. They're basically, you can put them in the tech space as well because their infrastructure is online, cloud-based. HUD 8, I believe that is crypto. Arcos Dorados, I haven't heard of them, but that M sure does look like a McDonald's M, don't it? What y'all doing? Y'all biting? All right, after close on Wednesday, Cisco, which is in the tech space. I believe Maxion is as well. So that's after close Wednesday. Thursday before open, we got Walmart by Baidu, JD.com. I've heard of all of those, of course. John Deere, Under Armour, which is Under Armour. They stock chart be looking kind of. After close on Thursday, Applied Materials. This is somebody that a lot of people are kind of sleeping on, but they are driving the tech space because they provide the machinery that like Intel and the TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, use to make the chips. So they are very important. Take-Two Interactive, video game, which I hardly ever hear anybody talking about lately, and DXC Technology, I believe, is in the tech space. So that's after close Thursday. And I don't recognize any of the companies for Friday before market open. So some of y'all may have heard of some of these. I know I've heard of Copart before, which is Thursday after close, but I don't even know what they do. I feel like they're in the same space as O'Reilly, but that's not 100%. I'm not 100% sure on that. So we got a few things that's popping off, but not any of the market movers that I'm used to seeing. When you're looking at Home Depot, don't forget that Lowe's is in that space, as well as probably Toll Brothers. So be aware of that if you're trading those, because there may be a little bit of a, market. I don't want to say shake up, but there may be some movement in those because they're in the same space. All right. So, good morning, Alyssa Pinkleton. Good morning, Ward. Lady T, good morning. Patrick, Good morning, Sizzline and Janae. Good morning. Karen C is in the house. Good morning. And good morning, Johnny Goodwin. So if y'all have any tickets you want looked at, please do drop them. We have Sim May that started May 1st, where we pick a strategy that you want to learn or test and run it all of May. So in this case, there's no real money. I'm using Thinkorswim for mine. This runs until June, so you really not trying to, necessarily make money on it, but you want to at least work on the mechanics. The strategy that I have been working on is iron condors mainly, so that's what I've been focusing on, and I've been using it mostly on Russell 2000. Also, shout out to everybody who came out to I use the phrase came out, it was online, to our cash flow game on this past Saturday. As always, it was a good time. At least from my perspective, I had a good time. I can't speak for the people on the other side, but I was cracking up. But also it's a great learning. If you're not aware, we play cash flow 101 online. This is Robert Kiyosaki's board game that works in conjunction with the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. So it's free to the public. If you want to get on board for our next one next month, just go to richdad.com, set up a profile, and you'll be able to play on board with us. So we talked about some of everything, multiple streams of income, budgeting, credit, stocks, real estate. We have our meeting ID right here, and that is second Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So thanks to Educated the Trader for providing the link, and then also to the Friday Night Study Group for also supporting us and allowing us to announce what is going on with that. Okay, let's jump into the charts. Let's see here. We had some issues last week. I believe it was actually it was on Friday with Thinkorswim. Looks like they may have done another update. So if anybody was having trouble either logging in or getting error messages, there may have been updates happening. So we're going to clear off this. This is just the, you can create on Thinkorswim what's called a study set. These are my moving averages. 9 is the green one. The purple one is the 21 moving average. And the red one is 200. This down here is RSI, which is relative strength index, which lets me know if the stock is overbought, oversold, which direction. Right now, this is SPX. This is on the 15-minute chart. I usually look on the 15-minute chart anyway, but it's oversold on the 15-minute chart. And then down here is what's called the MACD, which sounds like a rap group, actually. But this lets me know whether or not these moving averages have crossed that are here. I believe this is the 26 moving average, and the 9, it came by default. But I understand you can change it. And then these bars let me know what the strength is for that push. Right now, the buyers right now are pushing up, and that's a strong green. Look like it's starting to form, and this is starting to cross. And so we use these in conjunction with each other to try to get an idea of what's happening in the market, or at least with that particular time frame that we are looking at. All right. So I am going to clear this off though and remove this study. But if you wanted to, you can create your own study set by putting those, those kind of studies on Thinkorswim. If you go to studies, save study set, you can just type that in there and it'll always be there. And anytime you want to remove it to clear up your screen, you just remove all studies, right? And if you want to get it back, you just load the study set. That comes in handy because you can always, if you so choose, you can always have different study sets with different indicators, and you don't have to clutter up your screen. So that's always a plus. This right here is what happened on Friday on SPX. Again, this is the 15-minute chart we're looking at. So it gapped up from this close. It pushed up and it hit a turning point, this resistance, and then it dropped and pretty much based the rest of the day. It closed over here a little bit higher than what it opened on the previous session. And the high so far, even today, is up there, like it's trying to get up there to where the high was on Friday. So we have a little bit of a gap up right here. But obviously it's first thing in the morning. So we will get to marking. So this is going to be for our 15-minute. This is the highest that it has been so far with the few minutes open. So we're going to mark that. All right. And you can right click duplicate, or you can hit the space bar for Thinkorswim. Since this is so close to the close of the last session, I'm gonna just I'm not gonna worry about marking this gap because it could very well fill it. But what I will do though is we're gonna put in. All right, so here we go. After 7 green days in a row, SPX in basing mode, as posted, nonstop Friday, 52. Oh, this is wrong. I thought we put this on here. But anyway, we'll get that updated. We held 52.14 late day Friday, now coming to 52.39. Big res, which I'm assuming is for big resistance. Okay, because Big Res used to live across the street from us. All right. So plan today, no change, 52.14 to 52.39 is all chop, with 52.23 being the mid pivot. Base out in this. Then 52.49 to 52.71 and higher is next. But we're selling below 52.14. All right, so we're going to put 52.14 on the chart. Start there. 52.14 on the chart. We're going to do it like this, and we'll just like that, and then we'll put pivot. And we will show the name on the right, show the price on the right. There we got it. That's the pivot. Good morning, Tamar. Sizzling says TSM, please. Got it. All right. So in the meantime, between time, let's take care of this right here. Well, this will be updated. I'll make sure I update this Mancini joint. It's 23 as of right now. The difference between SPX and ES. All right. So we'll jump on TSM first. We do have some TSM. I might be in TSM. So we're gonna clear this up real quick. Crap. There you go. All right, so we're gonna clear this drawing set and get started. We're on a monthly chart right now. And 1 second. Let's see here. All right. Over here. Drop this line on here where it turned around before. And get us a nice blue color. Up that. So we see that it is starting to pull back, but the buyers right here not having it. Last month was one of those, I guess you could say, indecisive months for TSM because the sellers and the buyers, nobody won last month's candle, but obviously the sellers were pushing this down 2 months ago. So it looks like the buyers are trying to push it up, but the sellers are like, I need you to go ahead and get back in your place, pimp. All right. So I'm marking the last turning points on this side of price on the monthly. So obviously this is a run up. This is the pullback as we zoomed in a little bit closer. And right here, we have a cheer happening on the weekly. All right. Once it pulled back, it looks like it's trying to do the retest. So that's something that we definitely want to be paying attention to. All right. And I will do it this way. See if we can. And actually, it's on the wrong side. Sorry. So we're going to move this, create a channel. And the channel is just going to follow what it is currently doing. This side. Move this guy over here. I'm just looking forward to hit these two lines right here. This wick. There's a wick right here that is tapping. So I'm cool with just having those two for right now because it is touching and we can establish a trend based on that. I can even move this back a little bit like that. Boom. Then if we want to do the other one on the other side, there's a couple ways you can do that. I'll be more inclined to do it this way. So you have, and all I'm doing is just creating the channel. So when we get into the daily, get down to the daily chart, we'll have an idea of what was going on with the weekly and the direction. So even though this pulled back right now, it is still pushing up. It is retesting this 150. All right. So once we get here, still retesting the 150. We got a gap right here. So we're going to mark that gap. And in this case, by marking this gap, I automatically know that this is trying to push down. So I'm going to mark it here where it is currently. I'll mark it right there. It's going to probably push through that anyway. But that also lets me know, based on where this gap is, that with it pushing out, there's a potential call credit spread there above this resistance point and probably higher. Premiums right now will probably be good on the call credit spread side since it's indecisive. We don't have a leg out yet. So to use this as a seller zone probably would not be the best quite yet. But for what we do, what's happening over here is that this would be the seller zone because we're on the daily. So leg in, base, leg out. That means that we are currently in the seller zone over here. Right? This is a super long candle. So we're currently in the seller zone. So this is what we could use as the seller zone over here, or just go to the 4 hour and look for something that's more definitive. But in terms of a buyer zone, put that in quotations. I will be going right here to get the clearest one first. Because that's the one that I see that stands out. And then obviously something is happening right here. So some people probably would put this as a base, this red candle as a base for leg in, base, leg out. I wouldn't necessarily be against it, that's for sure. But I'm okay with just marking that this is this area is what is something's going on here, right in this area. Because I guess I'm 50-50 on whether or not I like this as leg in, base, leg out. But I'm more comfortable with knowing that this zone is having a bunch of buyers in it, right? So if we're looking at this in terms of if we're going to get into it, what I'll be doing, it's not investment advice. Probably going to end up being what I did because I thought for sure I got into it. I would be looking at something like 152 up here. Like I'm trying to get above this line and probably higher. So I'll be looking at the 150, definitely over 150 for sure. All right, so let's see. 150, I see 82. 82% out the money. That's an 82% chance that this trade may be a profitable trade. Now, let me go back. There's multiple ways of doing this, putting this together in terms of the trade. I am usually on the single chart, okay? And the way I do it is I pick my sell leg, so that's in the bid on the strike that I want. I hold down control and I click the buy leg, which is the ask, and that gives me what I need over here. And I usually just go good till cancel. All right. So YouTube AM. Got it. Okay. I'm pointing that out because the other way that this is done is on the single spread. And I'm specifically saying single spread because you have all of these options right here on the spread on Thinkorswim. So exact same thing, 152, right? But you just want to know, okay, what are we looking at? 55, okay, 152. What our premium is going to be if we decide 152 and 155 is what we want. Then you will switch it to vertical, 152, 155, and that will put you there. So the only difference between the two is I selected the legs on the first one while I was in the single spread mode. But the other way I did it was I just looked to see where I wanted to go, and then I switched it to vertical. And then it's going to give me this. I can still make that 31 and do whatever else I wanted to do and hit confirm and send. So when you're selecting your legs, you can do it one at a time, or you can just switch from single to vertical. The reason why I am usually in single and then I do the legs myself is, is because when I was doing it the first way, where I would look for the number and then switch it to vertical, I kept forgetting to switch it back to single. So what ended up happening is I was placing trades thinking that I was in the single section, forgetting that, you know, I had to look over here. I would know what the number was, but so in order to avoid that, I just start leaving it at single and just doing the legs myself. So I wouldn't have that problem. But right now we are in the TSM trade, and I am up here. Also, since this is trying to push down, there's no reason why you couldn't consider doing a iron condor. I wouldn't do it this soon. Just give it a little bit of time and see how far it's going to push down. But 142, 141, somewhere in there is where I will be looking, because here's 142 area. We got this huge gap. So, well, I'm saying that it's huge. It's only really $4, but we have a gap right here. So that's resistance. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, is when I say resistance, I mean is providing resistance like a buffer is what I really mean. It's like a buffer right here. So getting under one of these support levels in here is not a horrible idea, but obviously that means you're in that falling knife type situation because you don't know how hard it'll push down. And the same can be said for the other direction for pushing up, but there's two ways to look at that. Also, the only thing I would say is that even though the sellers are here and this got rejected, and the sellers are rejecting from up here, it is bouncing off of this gap. So this is a buyer's gap. So it is obviously bouncing. The sellers are pushing down harder recently, but a call credit spread could also be the safer move. So let's say if you didn't want to do that one, but you wanted to do the call credit spread because you think, okay, well, it may actually push up. You're not sure. You could also do something like that. Put it in there, wait. Matter of fact, you could do something like that. Just wait it out. Let me see what happens. So you can do either side. The concern that I would have, obviously, with the call credit spread is just that since it's basically pinned between these two, and the way this has retested, or shall I say, it has retraced, it could always push out and keep running up. But this also could be strong enough to where it sends it back down this way too. So a couple different ways of looking at it, but I would definitely keep an eye on it. But those are the numbers that I will have, at least in terms of investigation. 152 and 142 by coincidence. All right. So we're gonna do. We're gonna swing back to our SPX and see what kind of trouble it is getting into. We're gonna also look at Russell 2000. A second. So far, it looks like it tried to do a little breaking out, and it did not go as planned so far. This will fluctuate. It will jump around, jump up, jump. It'll jump around a little bit and do its thing. So we will be coming back to this in a second just to see. See, I believe these are the numbers. Give me 1 second and we're gonna redo our earlier snafu from Mancini. So take a look at it. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Actually, no, I'll do it this way. So we'll make sure we get our numbers in case people are tracking these numbers for Mancini. So after 7 green days in a row, SPX in basing mode as posted, nonstop Friday, 52.14, 52.39 is the new basing range. We held 52.14 late Friday. Now coming to, here we go again, 52.39. Boom, boom. Let's do that. Big resistance. Plan today, no change, 52.14 to 39. With chop, 52.23, mid pivot. Base out in this, then 52.49, 52.71 or higher is next. Sell at 52.14. All right. So we're going to make sure we save this. The updated version is what we will put in the Telegram group so that we will have that. All right. But our highs and the lows are established. Okay. I'm checking the box for any more tickers just in case anybody wanted to, you want to reset your sim trading account. Actually, I think you go to monitor activity and positions, adjust account, and then you can reset all balances and positions right here. That's where you would go for that, Johnny. Oh, all right. All right, let's already.
No, what you said is quicker. I mean, I told him to go into the positions, but what you said is a quicker method. Show him one more time.
Show him what I just showed him 2 seconds ago?
Yeah, just show it again.
Activity, go to monitor, activities and positions, adjust account. It's right here. So click on that. And then you got margin, you got current. I don't even mess with this stuff in here, but you can say if you wanted to change it to your, you wanted to switch it to a different amount, which is good for just only practicing with a certain amount. You can put that in the set account cash too, and put that there. But reset all balances and positions. This is where you would go for that. That's funny, Janae. She said, all I envision is Debo from Friday or Big Worm with the curls. I'm with you on that. When I saw Big Rez, I'm like, what? Serious? Big Rez. All right, so this is bouncing around. It is kind of stuck in the middle. So we're gonna go with Russell. No problem, Johnny. Russell. So this is why I trade the Russell 2000. Because I can do the same thing. So this is the same concept, the same breakout concept. I can trade the same breakout concept, and sometimes the Russell 2000, which is cash settled, sometimes it will have broken out when XPX may not have. So that is another reason why I like Russell 2000. So according to the Russell 2000 right now, the sellers pushed down, the buyers was like, psych. And then there's an extra candle that's already pushed out. So what I'll be looking at, the only quote unquote concern is whether or not it will make it past this resistance point. But in terms of at least starting to research it and kind of get an idea of what I would want to do with Russell and the breakout, it has broken out. So what's going on right here is I put this trade in on Friday, and so the PDT locked already. Okay, so I put on one side, did the other side. This trade is already good for today, so I don't even need to touch this for right now. However, if I was trying to get into it as of right now, I would be somewhere in the same area. I will be going for, I probably would be doing 2070 and 2065. And the reason why is the bid ask between these two is, 45 cents, something like that. This is 80. I will be going for the bid ask that's under $1 or less. So according to Axe Options, where many of us actually learned how to do the PDT hack, that was one of the things that she noted was the bid ask spread being narrow, which ends up sometimes being about could be 80% out the money, depends on how you look at it. So this will still be less than $1 right there. This would also still be closer to price. This would be what, 90 cents, right? Now, I would still want to be at least in the situation where if this thing turns around, I'm at least, have a pretty good odds of it still being a good trade. So this is a situation where Jamie would choose in our lister number, okay, in our lister range, if you will. So now we'd be in the 75% because I'm trying to do a PDT hack. Otherwise, I'm gonna let her have them 70s all to herself. Amen. Amen. So,
bruh, listen, there's better money in the 70s, and it's a 30%
right.
return is like, that's good statistics.
Listen, I'm on your side. I would never argue with a mathematician.
It doesn't
All
sound like
I'm
you're on my
saying
side,
is,
though.
listen, all I'm saying, I'm giving you props. I'm just
Okay.
saying some of us are more on the chicken side, right? Don't forget, you ride motorcycles. I don't,
I
I
do.
prefer, now I ain't saying I prefer tricycles, but I am saying.
Speaking of which, I was asking my husband because my motorcycle's in the garage, but I was like, when am I gonna be to ride my bike again? And he said that he's replacing the headlight. And I was like, it's daytime. I don't need no headlight.
Right.
And he's like, well, you're supposed to have a headlight on at all times on a motorcycle. I was like, bro, nobody's gonna care about my headlights.
That is true, though.
I was like, I'm gonna ride. He was like, I thought you said the next bike you get, you was gonna buy it. Well, how about that one? And it's still here, and I still got it, so I could be riding that bike that you say I need a headlight. Well, I don't need a headlight. I'm ready. And there's a headlight there, just needs to be replaced. I was like, I'm ready to ride. My bike is in the garage, and he's like,
yeah, see,
we'll see. We'll
yep.
see.
I got you. Yeah, see, you the Alyssa has videos, y'all, of her on her motorcycle. So I ain't telling her business in any way. It's public information. She showed it, and I was like, yeah, now I see why you like to get closer to price. Cause you a daredevil. Your boy ain't trying to have it. I have issues with roller coasters, pimp. I ain't trying to. So anyway. So no, I am not knocking your hustle. I'm definitely giving you props. Just letting you know that when this thing decides to accept, it would be a 70% joint, and it's something that our listener would do, but no, thank you. All right, because our listener is known for being in that 75% range. She's cool with that. I'm usually 80. I'm usually 80% out the money and Delta 13. That's usually about where I'm at. That's where I feel comfortable. Yeah, if I'm gonna get my ass whooped, I'm getting it whooped on my terms. I'm finna be having this market be like, see, you got too close, buddy. Boom, boom. Nope. That ain't how we doing it. All right. So I see service now as a ticker that has been dropped. Ooh, look at that monthly chart. I like the monthly charts I like seeing stuff when the monthly chart is clear like this. It helps out a lot in terms of the perception, because that means when we get to the other more narrow time frames, typically that means it'll be clearer since these higher concentration of numbers on the monthly are clearer. So this has done its It is in its pullback mode right now. Let's go weekly. Right, doing a little bit of basing, and it looks like there's a lot of buyers or enough buyers in this zone down here. This is a great leg out right here. Strong base. This leg in was whatever, but this right here and this push out. So as of right now, I would say I don't really see a quote unquote strong seller zone that we traditionally would call for unless you did leg in, 3 in the base right here and leg out. So you put these 3 candles in that base, right? So that would be the one for that. To be honest with you, this has a buyer zone formation. I would be more so marking it just because I know that there's activity, but I would prefer for there to be. Some people will do like a small leg in, and they're cool with that. But I would rather just acknowledge the zone, and I'll probably end up going down here for a buyer zone formation, which is too many in the base. Leg in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like either 5 in the base or. And there's no other setup over here for the weekly that makes me feel comfortable. But if I'm just going for a standard formation, the V formation, I'll be putting all of those in the base on the weekly. All right. So let's see what daily gonna tell us. So here is the seller zone on the daily. Leg in, base, leg out. There was a gap down, which is a seller's gap. See that retest right there? Sellers was not having it. Gonna put this here. Activate. Hope all the moms enjoyed their Mother's Day yesterday. That you all had festivities that celebrated you. And for those of you who have lost a mom and were not able to celebrate, I hope that you have good memories to carry you through those moments of processing the loss. And that's all I'll say about that, because brother get to crying on this joint. All right. Here we go. Current price on the daily. It looks like it's trying to push up and go back to retesting the gap. So it's all up to you how you want to play this. But since it's kind of sandwiched in there, okay. This is the top piece of bread. This is the bottom piece of bread. And here you go for the pickles, relish, and meat. All right. So you might want to you can go above this bun or below this bun. All depends on how you want to do it. This is a buyer zone down here. One of the things that I started doing to help me see these zones was I started making sure that I put the gaps in first. And once I marked where the gaps were, it started helping me see these other formations, because the gap is going to provide resistance or support. So it's easier for me to see that this was a leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. But I was able to see it quicker because I was looking for that gap. The same thing here. Leg in, base, leg out. But because I was looking for the gap, I could see the formation faster. So I had started doing it that way. Looking for the gaps, putting the gaps in. And it helped out a lot. So in this situation, for ServiceNow, which is in the tech sector, if you're a seller, I would be looking above 757. At least I would start. Nah, it's not 757, but it depends. But 757 is outside of the support. I'm sorry, resistance zone. This line up here. I probably would be able to get closer because we got this activity here, but 757 and let's say 682. That's where I would start investigating. That's how I usually would do it. Where can I start investigating? So this one right here would be so this is 705. Right. So let's look at this is 705 right here. All right, so it's that range. So this is not outside of the support zones, but chances are if we went to the 4-hour chart, we would see other zones in here. Okay. So for example, if you look here, leg in, one in the base, leg out. So this is 714. All right. Obviously this is closer to price. There's also a gap right here on the 4-hour, which I believe this is, what was this? When it closed. Close. Sounds about right. But anyway, I could put this in, leg in, base, leg out as a zone, or shall I say as a formation. This one closer, way too close for my comfort, but there is leg in, base. This will be the leg out. That's where it's at right now. So you can do 713 will be the first one, meaning the first support that it will hit outside of this one that is in. So I'm okay with 705. That's 80, well, almost 80% out the money. So I'm below that 13, right? So at least I know that there is another barrier there in betwixt us, right? So 705 should be a good spot to be. And this is a 2.5 spread, $250 of collateral. We know that because 705 minus 702.5 is 2.5. We have to multiply that times 100 because each contract is 100 shares, right? 250. Right? If we're going to do the one at the top, if we were going to put it in on today, this is 78% out the money. This is 81% out the money. What do we say? I'm looking at 7. This is coming down on this end. So I had said 760 is where I would start investigating, which is 760 is right here, 89% out the money, so I can get closer. Right now, since price is going down, I'm okay with 78%. Can you believe it? 2% closer, Alyssa. I'm coming closer to where you are. So again, 2.5 spread. And we would confirm this. And I'll do that. Those trades may not actually even pick up. Who knows? But so those are the numbers that I will have. That's where I'll be looking at. Mainly because this is sandwiched in between. There's a gap here, and then the seller zone above it, which is, your resistance up here. And then down here, there's a gap and then support under it. So doing the iron condor, which is what I just did, I'm okay with that. All right. Let's see what SPX talking about, and then we can So right now, SPX is still hanging out in this zone here. It has not broken out at all, which of course means it has not filled its gap either. So what we'll do is just mark the gap that it created for this morning when price one jumped up. And we do have a couple events, even though it's not an all-day thing that we have for those economic events. There are things that are happening. So in terms of our 10 o'clock turnaround, which is right about now, we have that happening. So we got a couple other tickers that we'll do, and then we will release you to succeed throughout the rest of your day. How about that? We doing a trade. Before we do Amazon, Arlissa, did you have anything that you need to add?
Good morning, everybody. So mainly just to make sure that you are checking whichever stocks that you really like for this week, and you're entering those. I put some messages in our telegrams this morning. If you already had things that you entered from Friday, then you might well go ahead. You may look at them and see if they're ready to close. Remember, 70 or 80% is good to close those up and go ahead and move on to the next thing. It'll give you money to use for Wednesday or Thursday for some more entries if you'd like. All right. So definitely keep checking, have your alerts on for the Telegram, because as I see stuff, I'll put things there. This week, we are going to wrap up the options. We're going to wrap that up on Thursday for the 6 weeks of coaching. That's going to wrap up, and we'll look at our next steps and all the stuff that goes along with that. So look forward to that coming. Besides that, I'll do like Jamie says, keep your head trading on a swivel. One thing I put into the Telegram this morning, which I'm excited about once again, is PeakBot sees that there are people who want to be able to trade what they got going, but their broker is not working. So a lot of people were, of course, Thinkorswim, and we were in TD Ameritrade, but TD Ameritrade moved everybody over to Schwab this weekend. Everybody who was left basically got moved this weekend. And because PeakBot still has not integrated with Schwab, and they're still working that all out, what they've started to do is to send alerts. Ding, ding, ding. They're going to send alerts. And alerts for sellers are good, because if you're a buyer and an alert comes, you need to be like on that alert, or your opportunity may just pass you by. But as a seller, you got 30 minutes to an hour really to make that call before any significant change happens in that premium. So, having the alerts is something you can definitely get in on. And then you can use whatever broker you want to use. For those of you who use Robinhood, those of us who use Robinhood, and Robinhood is not going to, at this point, it's probably not going to connect with PeakBot, but you still want to be able to have alerts and stuff that come, then, hook up. See, either send Dylan a message. They've got the message. You can text him within our brokerage, or you can, not our brokerage. You can text him within our Telegram. My mind went to brokerage. You can text him within our Telegram, or you can send him a text message for those who still have his number, because they give the PeakBot number. We've seen it lots of places. Or you can ask him for the number and text him and tell him you want to get in on the alerts. So that way you can get the seller alerts, right? Which these are trade ideas, like in the moment, if you want to call them that. And you can use those as a seller for whatever broker you're using. Like if you're still on TradeStation, or you're on Robinhood, or we're on Schwab and can't do anything with that right now. As far as integrating the bot, go ahead and send Dylan a message. You can send it in our Telegram or connect with them through PeakBot. If you're not in any of our Telegrams, you can connect with them on PeakBot and let them know that you want to be in on the alerts. All right. So that may be about all that I wanted to say this morning. I want us to trade well, and I'm working on something that's coming forward. I'm really excited about. So look for that to be coming down the pike sometime this week. All right. All right. Thank you, Jamie.
All right. Here we go.
Party people. All right. So we're on Amazon. We have marked the turnaround points, which is this is the first one Amazon has broken past its most recent high. It had been already going back and forth on that recent high, but we marked these turnaround points so far. Then put the channel on the weekly just to see what the areas that it is contained within. This looks like it is kind of start to base, but as you can see, this was the seller zone, the recent seller zone, even on the weekly, and it broke past that. All right. And now, really, this is a zone that broke past, and then on the weekly, the buyer zone is right here. So this is really a zone on top of a zone, and it's these buyers pushed up, and then it's trying to push its way out. At least it looks that way. For the daily, the buyer zone would be down here. So what I did was mark the gap. All right. Mark this one as well. So we mark the gap, which gives us leg in. Let me open this up a little bit. Leg in, base, leg out, right there. And oops. Mark the base down here. That's fine. So we're going to mark this formation. I'm going to move this up just a tad bit. This here. Boom. So this is marking our buyer zone down here. The seller zone is a little bit funny looking for the buyer zone, but I'll mark what is there. So this is the leg in with a little bit of a gap right there, base and leg out. Technically, this area over the last few days is basing. What's really happening, at least the way this looks, is the sellers have pushed down and they're kind of winning this area, if you will. What I would be looking for if I was trying to get into Amazon, I'll be looking for, so this candle right here is the candle that went the highest. Okay. What I would be looking for in Amazon is to see if today's candle closes lower than this candle, the one that was the high, I'll be looking to see if it closes below this number. What is this number? So the lowest is 189.5. I'll be looking to see if it closes below 189.5. This candle next to it, so the previous day, when it closed at 187.48. So this is giving me the impression that if it closed below this one, because you think about it this way, this wick was formed because something was strong enough to stop it and send it back the other way, right? There was a price that was strong enough to push it this direction. So on the next day, if this closed below that, that means that this had enough force to be able to say, screw what y'all was doing over here before. We setting this new low. So as you see that it keeps closing below these lows, that's like, it's in order to create a new low, there needs to be enough force to hold it there and keep it at that close. So I'll be looking to see if it continues. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do a little bit more dropping. This is a strong, this had to push it the other way as well. So low 184. So it wouldn't surprise me if it starts breaking past these, strong wick where it turns around. I mean, there's no reason why it can't, but I'll just be focused on seeing what the high day was right here and kind of thinking, yeah, might be something going on. Just a thought, but it wouldn't surprise me when we go to the chart if there was something at 184. Well, it's coming down towards us, so I wouldn't even be here. I would be somewhere down here if I was doing an iron condor or something. But the way this is looking in the daily, I would be up here for a call credit spread. So I will be at, what is the actual number up here? This was 191. So I'll be in the 190 zone. Start looking. There's a 73% chance out the money, and then there's 86% chance. And as you can see, the money drops off. The difference between the two right there drops off. Let me show you what that would be in terms of what you would collect. So if you're at 190, it would be 50 cents. This is $250 of collateral. You'll be getting 50 cents right there. But if you went up to, so if you decide to do 195, nah, I ain't saying, dude, stop it. Let me do this again. So 192.5. Now you're talking 21. So you're not even getting 10%, but obviously you can increase it. I like to try to get 10% for that amount of money, if possible, if it's going to hold that collateral. And or since it's moving down, some people would say, well, let me just get a little bit closer, take advantage of the fact that it's moving down. Really, it's up to you. The only other thing I would do in this situation is I will pull out the study set and I will see what the moving averages are saying. What this is telling me is that this is not quite over. This is not overbought yet. So I'm looking down here because the number for overbought would be 70. This is at 59. So there's still some more buying that can be done. This is crossed already. Back on let's see what this day is. 5-1. But the strength of the buyers seems to be falling off a little bit. So right now, these two moving averages are providing support, but it looks like that support is slipping away on the daily chart. So yeah, I would feel comfortable going with that call credit spread. This is the 4-hour version of this, and on this one, the moving averages are above it. So the moving averages are providing that resistance on the 4-hour chart. I'm usually looking at the 4-hour chart to trade as of recently, but what I see on this 4-hour chart, it is not oversold. So it's not under this number. It hasn't crossed. But the first thing that I notice here is not only are the moving averages holding it down, this is a chair formation up here. Leg in, 1, 2, 3 in the base, leg out. So that's a chair formation, or depending on how you chart your lines, you can chart it like this. With this one as a leg in, the small candle, because it's a gap, a little bit of a gap there, right? So you can go leg in, one in the base, the green one in the base, and the leg out. That's another way to do that. But if you want to do just the larger candles, leg in, leg out with 3 in the base. So either way, at least in this area, you still have that resistance. So for my purposes, I would be okay with that 190 74% out the money for that. What is this? 85? What is that is? What is that? 190. All right. So 190 is in this area. So 190 would be in this area, which is above this, that's inside of this chair formation that I just described. So I would be okay with that. 190. But so since it's only, now put that in quotation, 74%, I'll definitely be watching it as well. Because that also means if it decides to come back this way, then that could be
what is going on with your mic? Something is rubbing. It's something all staticky, and I'm not sure what is happening over there.
Well, thanks for letting me know, because I don't hear anything in my system.
I know. You don't hear anything. We are the listeners.
That's why I'm thanking you.
Well, that's the way you said it. It's the way you said it.
Whatever. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
49, 48. So we're gonna. Matter of fact, send me one of them nice microphones you got down there. Blue egg or whatever it's called. So this accepted. Why did y'all put that in the chat box, by the way? If y'all couldn't hear me, somebody could have put that in the chat box. Let a brother know.
Well, it wasn't that we couldn't hear you. It just got real staticky there for a short time. It wasn't that long.
Okay. I was gonna say, man,
it wasn't that long. It's just, the genius in me is super sensitive.
No, I got you. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm very particular about sound. So, because people can put up with your video being whack, but they cannot put up with the sound being whack. It don't work like that. Like, I can't hear what you're saying. I don't care how beautiful this picture is. So if y'all
that is so true.
Up, y'all let me know.
That is so true. That is so true. I don't care if it looks bad, like but if it sound bad,
yeah, for sure. You can exclude. You can excuse a lot of errors. I don't know if you ever seen the movie. What was the name of the movie that it was Denzel Washington and Ray Allen? And Ray Allen's character was Jesus Shuttlesworth. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Not yet.
The movie was called He Got Game.
Okay.
He Got Game. This is just an example of as long as the picture is fine. So if we can excuse mistakes. If you ever watched that movie in the theater, I saw it. As a matter of fact, we sit in the theater, and all of a sudden we started noticing that while the movie was going on, the boom mic above them kept getting into the picture. I don't know why they did not edit that out in post. So they will be talking, and you would just see the boom mic drop right into the picture. But the thing is, the sound was still clear. So it's like, so it was a mistake, but it was excusable, because it's like, well, we can still hear what they're saying. In that same situation, man, if that mic would have been if the sound would have been messed up, and you seeing a boom mic, you'd be like, what? Spike slipping. This cat, he ain't got game.
Spike's movie production was always a little on the janky side anyway. Like when they riding in a car, the whole thing is moving like the camera. Camera's moving along with the car. It's his stuff was always a little questionable, but
Okay, but in this case, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that was not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Your microphone ain't supposed to
yeah.
be popping out with
This
the
is
actual
true.
arm.
Yeah, yeah. That's about as bad as the Tyler Perry movies with the person's microphone hanging down out their wig. Like, really?
See? Like
I mean,
this
the sound is fine, but like, you couldn't put the mic nowhere but right here.
dude in the wig. Oh my god.
Why are we doing this? Really? They got to
Dude,
have some updated technology. What are you
dude,
doing?
dude. So as long as you can see it, that's
Oh
fine
goodness.
if the sound is good. But once we start jacking that sound up, it's
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
It's over. So I definitely appreciate when somebody let me know. Um, so we got the monthly. This is Occidental. This is in the energy space because it is gasoline. That means that CVX and XOM are also in that space as competitors. And that is XLE if you do the tech sectors. They are all in that space. So I'm just creating the channel right now, looking for 2 wicks for this to cross. I think got about 3 right here. And we'll go to, so this channel, obviously this is moving down. It has retraced and it is making its way on down. Let's go to the daily. See what we come up with. We can mark this gap, and this gap will show us that there is a zone that we would call a seller zone. So this, I'm gonna activate it, move it up a little bit, and put that here. So we got a little bit of a zone. Sorry, the lines are crooked. At least they look crooked on my screen. All right. So because now keep in mind, we're marking the gap. It did gap down. Okay. But that's not what we will mark as the zone, meaning the candle formations. The candle formations would be right here. So it's leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. So the green line is just simply marking the 2 in the base. Right? Leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. So we got to put the line here for your proximal line, and then above here for the distal. So that's what that is right there. In terms of a buyer zone, to be honest, first thing I see is a gap down here. So we're gonna mark this gap. So I do see it. And let's go up one more. To push down. So we have the gap. I really don't see anything in terms of a buyer zone. At least nothing without some, trying to force it. What I do see though is that this area down here is a zone with buyers in it. So this, I see buyers pushing up down here. So what I'll do is I'll acknowledge that in gray because it's not, I wouldn't consider it a formation per se. However, I'm going to put, I'll do something like this because I see buyers in here. But I will say that some people probably, would do it like this, leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. I see all of this as more of momentum, kind of like a continuation. So that's the only reason why I didn't really mark it that way. but I just want to at least mark where I see the buyers at in this situation. Chances are we may see a formation on the 4-hour chart, but if I was going to do something down here, I would be probably more likely to mark this down here as a cheer or acknowledge it. So if we did leg in, one in the base, leg out, this is a gap up, right? So I would consider this a push up and this as the base change. So I would be okay with having this one down here be a zone that I'm looking at. Something like that. So I would be okay with leg in, base, leg out. But definitely marking that something is going on here. But I'll look at it on a 4-hour just to be on the safe side to see what the 4 hour is saying. So what the 4 hour has is here. Whoops. So y'all can see it. Leg in. These are dojis. So leg in. Guess 2 in the base, leg out. That'll be the one for there. And probably have to go back some to find anything. Yep. So right here is $63 for the low over here. So we got to be below 63, which will put us about right here. So we could use this as the formation 63.17, right? Came down, turned around. So whoops. So I'm just going to pull this over. Then we'll go look at the chart to see the option chain to see where we would possibly get in at. I'm going to extend this to the right. That is super crooked. And I'm going to do something with orange-ish. All right. All right. So we're marking the so let's look at it on the daily and see what it did. Oh, so what it did, it just made this candle, the bottom of this candle ended up being the zone. Okay, which if you remember when we were looking before on the last chart and I was talking about the bottom of those wicks and I was like, something had to hit that to send it around. So price has to push past that, next time it tries to go below it. This is essentially saying the same thing. So this ends up being the buyer zone for this just on the 4-hour chart. Price is dropping currently. So I would not be considering a put credit spread right now. I'll be looking at the call credit spread to see what the numbers are for it. Since price is dropping. It's probably not going to be a lot of money because I don't think Oxy is moving fast right now. But so this would be 8 cents if you were doing it this way. So that's one version of doing it. If we were doing 364.3, yeah, 8 cents. Some people may even do iron condor in this situation. That's what you would need to do to try to get any kind of money off of this week. So if you did it as an iron condor, this is a one spread, $100. These two together, if they accepted, would be 17 cents at least to get into the trade. I am trying to do a better job of getting on the correct side when I get in. But so for next week, or so for the following week, around the same strike is 9 cents. Well, this one was 8 cents.
Do you ever look at the Peakbot watch list to see if it has it as bearish or bullish? I mean, actually, Oxy is showing up on the neutral list right now, but I was just wondering if you ever look at it.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Short answer. Yeah, Oxy is actually on the neutral list, but according to the chart, it does.
So the what I was just saying for iron condors is on their list. So
yes, you're spot on.
right,
Look at
cool.
you, such a talented master charter. Technical.
Oh my God, do not. Thank you, but don't.
That was not even being facetious. I want you to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But when moms say stuff with a certain tone, it sounds sarcastic. You know how you be like, how like your baby, you just happy that your baby did something, even though they might not have nailed it. You know what? You did such a good job. But you like, you know, but the daddy over there snickering because you know, like, yeah, nigga didn't do no great job.
We judge another by the condition of our own hearts.
I'm just saying.
And your heart is sarcastic. So you hear sarcasm. That's not what I wasn't saying. It's sarcastic. I was saying.
I said thank you. I said thank you.
With all the other stuff. You said thank you with all the other stuff.
I was explaining why you be sounding sarcastic to my ears. It's what my ears is hearing.
I am a mom, and sarcasm is a language that I speak fluently.
Come on now.
That in this case, this is not what happened.
And you bilingual, so you can do sarcasm in 2 languages. And you be talking slang, so that's 3 languages.
Yeah, that's my code switching, because my code switching will come out. I will code switch.
But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I was just acknowledging that I was more happy that I was right, like what I was seeing. But I appreciate that Peakbot is there to back me up on that. Because that'd have been totally embarrassing if it'd have been like, nah, pimp. That ain't what Peakbot's saying. So yeah, no, I did not look at the list, but it's moving so slow right now that the only way to get any money from that joker is to be on both sides. But going out an extra week for about the same strikes, it really wasn't picking up no money. So if you want to do iron condor, let me rephrase that. If I were considering trying to make money on this stock, I would be looking at the iron condor, but I'll be starting with the call credit spread side. But I normally don't put my iron condors in all at once. I usually do one side. I just put in the side that is not standing in the way of the knife. All right. So since those are going to be about the same, the first thing that I did notice here is that at 64, 65% out of the money, but when I looked at 80, the next strike up was 65, and that's 84% out of the money. That jump between the two made me feel like that's something I could take a look at this and see. All right. Oh, whatever, Alyssa. She was saying, she was agreeing with me. She was agreeing with me. Exactly, Jamie. Say thanks the end. I thought she was agreeing with me.
No, she said exactly, Jamie. Say thanks, the end. She was agreeing with me.
Oh my God.
Jamie say thanks. The end.
Oh, is that what that meant? That's not my
Yes,
spirit didn't.
that's what they,
My spirit didn't receive it as that.
that's
But
definitely
anyway,
it.
Jamie, you always do a great job charting. Thank you, Lady T. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. I didn't think she was agreeing with Arlissa. Thought she was seeing my point that the sarcasm is an acceptable.
Is it acceptable?
It's an acceptable reception point. In other words,
Oh,
moms have it.
they do. Yes.
Moms have it. The good moms have it. The ones that don't really want to be a mom, it's totally different. But that's a different conversation.
That's a different conversation for
That's a different
sure.
conversation. So different
And
conversation.
it's too close to Mother's Day to have it. So let's leave that one till we get to Father's Day.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So those are the numbers I have for Oxy. That's Occidental, everybody, not Oxycontin. All right. Just being on the safe side, making sure we good. Right. Because we all know that there is a push for the legalization of marijuana. So we don't want to be confused, right? Here we go. SPX has not broken out yet. It is still obviously standing in the need of prayer. So, since this is happening, the breakout has not happened for anybody. So, it looks like it's still trying to push on down through there. Let's check on Russell before we bounce. I don't see any more tickers. So, what Russell decided to do was so we had mentioned earlier that this was the point, the resistance point, and I was wondering if it was going to get there and turn around or keep trying to head up. So this is working. This is working. Let me see. Failed. I thought I put a Russell trade in. What is this? Oh, we got canceled. Yeah. I guess I canceled it and then put another one in. Okay, I got you. All right, so this has decided to dip back this way because of what time it is. The other options, of course, is to go up above it. Since it already turned it, you can do a CCS right here, and wait it out, see what happens. Because of this gap right here, we know there's plenty of space that is necessary for it to get back down to the bottom. So now just the now trade is in as well, right? Where this is stopping is where this cheer is over here. So we'll just keep watching it. All right. I don't see any more tickers. Oh, I'm laughing at tomorrow. All right. So we look like we're good. Okay. Dow Jones currently up 0.09%. S&P 500 up 0.05%. The NASDAQ is up 0.27%. Russell 2K is up 0.94%. And the VIX is up 6.69%. It is at 13.39. All right. We are going to go ahead and do our E2T daily declaration. By faith, I'm a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. E2T Daily Prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. All right. So we have not gotten the mortgage delinquencies report yet. Maybe that might be something that they don't give us a number for. I don't know how that works, but since that's tentative, it could be at any point in the day. So I was just looking to see if there was anything that we have to worry about between now and close of market, which I know we had a couple things on there, so I was gonna try to get it caught up. But all right, everybody in this community, we work on doing two things each day, and that is to stay green and get this money. So we hope that you have a great trading day, profitable trading day. We'll be in our Telegram group. So if you have any questions for our Telegram group or in our Telegram group, as you know, just tag us in there so we'll know that you have a question in case we don't see it. All right. You all have a great trading day, and hasta mañana. We will see you all on tomorrow. Adios.
Goodbye, everyone. Y'all have a good trading day. Look for me in the Telegram.